Okay, hello and welcome to part 3 of the online work. This work is due on June 28th. So here's our agenda for part 3. The first part we're going to jump into is feedback for other staff, for non-teachers. And then we'll look at some different observation tools that you might like. Third, we will check out a difficult conversation protocol, which is different than the debrief protocol that we've already been using. Step 4, you'll have a chance to choose whether you're going to be a peer evaluator or an admin evaluator, and you'll be able to check out a slide deck focused on one of those roles. And then for number 5, some of you might do this before the rest of the pre-work because we're asking you to do this before the last class. We're going to ask you to read the trapeze article and prepare for the closing activity. So, observing and giving feedback to non-teachers. So sometimes we think that observations and feedback conversations, especially observations, I'd say, we think of as only for teachers. But I think it can be extremely valuable to observe and, of course, give feedback to non-teachers too. So as we begin this part, I'd love for you to think of a person in your building, and it could be you, who is not a teacher. What is the person's role and title? What could you observe this person doing and give them feedback on? And we'll ask you to submit your ideas for that in Edpuzzle. So, of course, observing and giving feedback is not just for teachers. There's lots of folks in our buildings who want, need, and appreciate feedback. For example, librarians, administrators, lunch monitors, paraprofessionals, nurses, specialists, custodians, and others need feedback too. So one important recommendation is to make sure that these folks have job descriptions. So if one doesn't exist, you'd need to create one. And the best job descriptions include specific deliverables and deadlines. And as with students, it's important to try to set clear expectations about both tasks and deliverables, and also about philosophies and values. So you can click on here some rubrics and other resources, or you'll actually probably need to click on those in the slide deck that I share with you. So to show you what I mean about tasks, deliverables, deadlines, philosophy, values, here's an example for a guidance counselor. So for the tasks or deliverable, a good one for a high school guidance counselor would be at least one college application for every 12th grader, or at least one post-secondary application for every 12th grader. And then deadline could be December 21st because most of those are due in January, so you would want to have a deadline in advance of that. And then the philosophy and values here. A lot of us are working in our schools to make sure all staff believe that all kids can go to college if they want to. So the philosophy and values would be all kids can go to college and they need support and encouragement from staff in the process. So I'd love for you to reflect in Edpuzzle here. Review this list of non-teaching positions, and you'll see that this has been generated by participants in the observation and feedback course for many years. Add your own ideas to the list. You can even add rows for categories of staff that we didn't include. There might be categories of staff that are not on there. And then review this list and pick at least one takeaway to submit in Edpuzzle. And by takeaway, I mean, what's an idea you can take away from this?